This is about to blow up in a reality. In fact, it's already started blowing up.
The Middle East is on the brink. The people of the region are confronting a real danger of a devastating, full-scale conflict. Now is the time to defuse and de-escalate.
I think it's important to be respectful on these occasions. A country has had a massive attack from a dangerous and malign actor in the region.
The scale and nature of Iran's heinous assault, the first direct attack from Iran on Israeli soil, poses grave risks to the security and stability of citizens across the Middle East.
The attack that Iran attempted on Israel, it was 301 weapons, 110 ballistic missiles, 40 cruise missiles.
But then Israel has to understand that the USA, as their biggest backer, America are going to have a say in what they're doing.
Israel will retaliate and America won't do anything about it.
We don't want a war with Iran. We don't seek to widen and broaden this conflict. We don't want to see things escalate.
Isn't the real risk of where we are now that Western governments appear to back Israel the moment that Israel is under attack, but when Israel attacks and murders tens of thousands of innocent Palestinians, we say the words, but we do almost nothing.
Our defences are ready, and we know how to deal with every threat separately. Next to defence, we are prepared to attack.
The scale of the attack and the fact that it was targeted directly at Israel are without precedent. It was a reckless and dangerous escalation.
General war. We know the United States doesn't want to fight a general war with Iran.
If I was running a country and 320 missiles rained down on my people over the weekend, somebody from America or Britain saying, don't you dare retaliate, they can do one.
Western countries should blame themselves and answer to public opinion for the measures they have taken against the 7 months of war crimes committed.
This is about to blow up in a reality. In fact, it's already started blowing up as the world is about to experience yet another World War III, whereby no one is talking about it. All the Western media, they are quiet about it. Instead, all the mainstream, they are more focused on what is happening to Donald Trump right now because they want to see the men being arrested.
Straight to New York now, to the courthouse, where we are expecting Donald Trump to appear shortly. He has been charged with 34 counts of fraud relating to hush money allegedly paid to the former porn star Stormy Daniels.
While something very important is happening that can destroy the Western because they've been digging this grave shovel by shovel to the point that they'll end up being destroyed. Of course, all thanks to Biden puppet administrative, which had to do a serious campaign around the world in order to bring even more conflict, especially in the Arabic region. We sleep and wake up, we all saw how Iran had to attack Israel in an open heights. They have to send more than 306 drones which carries big missile in order for them to destroy the government of Jerusalem. Oh yes, we all saw this coming. No one had doubt that Iran was actually going to strike back on Israel for what they have done at their embassy in Palestine. We'll discuss more about it in a short. Thanks to the government of England and Israel, they managed to shoot most of these drones in the air before it reached the ground of Israel. President Biden, who had to cut and shorten up his conference that he had or other program that he had for that day in order for him to go and solve up this problem. Even though President Biden did warn Iran to not attack Israel when he said,
what is your message to Iran right now?
Don't. Iran government have to challenge the United States of America by telling them that we are not your puppet government as you are doing with any government around the world. We are the Republic of Iran and we are not here to bow.
Our defences are ready and we know how to deal with every threat separately. Next to defence, we are prepared to attack.
When the Western media, they were more focused on something else to distract the world with the fake news, of course, something serious did happen. This time I'm taking you in Russia. President Vladimir Putin had made a move when he spoke Yes, you heard me correct. Vladimir Putin spoke out and he had to tell the world of what is up to come. He had to tell the world of what's gonna happen because of the war which has been ongoing in Ukraine, and seeing on how the Western, they had involved in the world affairs. Vladimir Putin came and made these revelations to tell the world that something serious is about to happen. That will be a big warning to the Western, and if they don't want to listen, this is what will be their downfall. The Western government, they're in the lockdown right now about what is happening in the Middle East. They thought it was going to be more easy by attacking Hamas in Palestine and destroy and bring even more conflict in the Middle East. Until then, things have to start changing around in their behalf. Even though President Biden had to tell Iran to not attack Israel, but Israel came back also and threatened United States of America with Biden, telling them that do not interfere. This is not your business.
Some big news just coming in. Iran has sent a message to the United States through the Arab countries, and I'm quoting from that: if you intervene in a conflict between us and Israel, we will attack American bases in the region.
Of course, Iran said they are not willing to go at war with United States of America, but if United States does not respect themselves and get to interfere in their business on what is happening between Iran and Israel, then they will left Iran without no choice than to attack all the US military camp which are based over there in the Middle East. Now that Iran have attacked Israel because of what Israel have done to them, now is there going to be retaliations that will gonna bring these countries to engage into the general war?
The question is, will this retaliation then escalate to general war? We know the United States doesn't want to fight a general war with Iran. The reason why the Obama administration signed off on the Iran nuclear deal in 2015 is that the only option we had, if we didn't capitulate on our terms regarding Iran's nuclear program, was a war that we could not win. Every president since Obama has recognized that we cannot win a war against Iran.
Meanwhile, this conflict in the Middle East and in the Arabic regions, it is costing the US economy, especially when it comes to the petrol, because all the exportations that they've been taking from these Middle East and Arabic regions, their price have now even increased, and they have reached the point of not selling their petrol to the United States anymore. Instead, they prefer to sell it to African countries. And that made Biden become even more desperate. Remember, as I always say, desperate people like to do desperate things.
Let me start with the Putin price hike. I led the world and other countries to join with us to coordinate the largest release of oil from our stockpiles of all the countries in history. Today, I'm announcing a plan to refill the Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve in the years ahead at a profit for taxpayers.
Today, the Biden administration announced that it's going to pull back its plans to refill the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. You know, they drained that to try and bring gas prices down earlier. Well, they've been trying to fill it back up, but now it is way too expensive.
You may ask yourself this question to know, why is Iran attacking Israel? Well, I'm going to summarize this in a short for you to understand exactly what had happened. As you all know that Israel is killing innocent people in Palestine, where it's been committing serious genocide that many countries will already start condemning. But by doing all this, as you all know that since they've been bombarding Hamas or people of Palestine, saying that they are looking for Hamas terrorist movement, of course they've been bombarding everywhere: church, stadiums, refugee camps, any place where they can find people located, they'll bombard. And this time they end up making a very big mistake, which end up becoming their big nightmare, by going to bombard the counselor of the Iran.
Concerns are now growing of an imminent Iranian strike on Israel. Tehran has vowed to retaliate over a suspected Israeli airstrike that killed several of its top commanders last week.
They went on to the embassy of Iran and bombarded everyone who were inside there, including some of Palestinians who went to seek for refuge in that embassy. And after they did so, there were about 7 people who died in that Iran embassy. Therefore, Iran had promised to revenge. We all know that an embassy represents a country. You can do your nonsense anywhere you want, but by attacking other embassy or consular, then you must know that you're attacking another country. We all know that it's been for some times now that in the Arabic regions, Iran with Israel, they are the big arrival ever. That is excluding countries such as Yemen, Syria, and so on and so on. So they've been having serious conflict. And for the fact that Israel opened the door for the Western and NATO countries to come in, for the fact that Israel, they accepted to work with the US, to let the US to come in the Arabic regions, which all the Arabic countries had stand against and telling Israel that we don't want you to bring this American over here because they're going to bring instability in our region. But Israel, because it's the allies of the Western countries such as France, British, US, he opened the door for this NATO country to come in so that they can take control of them again. And the Arabic countries, they did not want that. So they've been having this conflict for some times now. Now, by making a mistake to go and bombard the Iran embassy in Palestine, of course Iran think that no, we are not Palestine or a mass group which Israel can come and dominate and kill them as they wishes. Therefore, we are going to show them that they have messed up with the wrong person. And that is how they plan to go and attack Israel. Now, they did that. And they launched all this missile. When it went over there, most of them, they were dropped down by the UK and the Israel military government, which had to put and destroy all these drones before it reached where people they were located. That becomes such kind of a certain victory for David Cameron, who's the former Prime Minister of the UK, who have to come and applaud and laugh at Iran instead of trying to find a way of stopping this kind of conflict. But he had to go and tell Iran that they failed with their missions because they could not even be able to reach their target as they plan to attack Israel.
The attack that Iran attempted on Israel, it was 301 weapons, 110 ballistic missiles, 40 cruise missiles. But I think this is a time to think with head as well as heart and to be smart as well as tough. And I think the smart thing to do is actually to recognize that Iran's attack was a failure. And we want to keep the focus on that, on Iran's malign influence, and actually pivot to looking at what's happening in Gaza and getting those hostages released, including, of course, the British nationals, you know, who've been there over 6 months.
Now, the government of Netanyahu, they had to go and sit down and say that, no, we are going to respond back, and we are going to do it very hard on Iran. Now, the question is, does the government of Joe Biden, the same government, the same person who had supported Israel to go ahead and eliminate people of Palestine, are them going also to support Israel this time in order for them to go and attack back on Iran?
President Biden tonight urging restraint as concern grows among senior officials that the U.S. could be dragged into a broader conflict in the Middle East, depending on how Israel responds to Iran's attack.
We don't seek an escalation. We don't seek a wider war in the region.
The president meeting virtually with G7 leaders, with all members writing they unequivocally condemn in the strongest terms Iran's unprecedented actions, demanding that Iran and its proxies cease their attacks, and vowing to take further measures now and in response to future moves that would destabilize the already fraught situation. A senior administration official says the U.S. and Tehran had contact through Swiss intermediaries both before and after the attack. Overnight, the president conveyed to Prime Minister Netanyahu by phone that while U.S. support for Israel is ironclad, it will not participate in any retaliatory counteroffensive by Israel, according to senior administration officials.
Whether and how the Israelis will respond, that's going to be up to them.
The White House also applauding Israel's defense capability, aided by the U.S., which shot down dozens of missiles and drones launched from Iran, Syria, and Yemen. The president calling members of several fighter squadrons to commend their airmanship and skill. While some Republican critics argue the Biden administration hasn't done enough to contain the threat.
I think they've emboldened Iran.
Well,
this administration's failing to say there is a red line. There should be a red line.
Come to think of it, do you think Joe Biden with the United States of America are them able to go and fight or go to war against Iran? Because remember, Iran is one of the biggest countries in the world which always challenge them. They've been having conflict, they never get along, and going to the war with Iran right now, is it a good thing that people of America deserve?
We don't want a war with Iran. We don't seek to widen and broaden this conflict. We don't want to see things escalate. As a matter of fact, what we want to do is see things de-escalate.
When you talk about de-escalating, so is it the position of the Biden administration that Israel should not retaliate on Iran or Iranian territory now?
Again, that's a decision that only Prime Minister Netanyahu and the War Cabinet can make. I mean, again, we respect their sovereign decision-making process. What we want to see is de-escalation of the tensions. We don't want to see a wider war.
So CNN reporting is the following, John. President Joe Biden and senior members of his national security team have told their counterparts the United States will not participate in any offensive action against Iran. That's according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter. I've seen similar reporting in Reuters, Axios, CBS News, The Washington Post, and many more. I list that out to ask you, is that reporting accurate? Is that the position of the Biden administration?
We don't want to see a war with Iran, and we certainly aren't looking for a wider conflict in the region.
We know the United States doesn't want to fight a general war with Iran. The reason why the Obama administration signed off on the Iran nuclear deal in 2015 is that the only option we had, if we didn't capitulate on our terms regarding Iran's nuclear program, was a war that we could not win. Every president since Obama has recognized that we cannot win a war against Iran.
It is now more obvious that the Western, they have started something that they are not going to be able to finish anytime soon. Because creating a serious conflict in the Arabic regions, it's something that's going to affect them not only economically, but it can even destroy them through the terrorist attack. Because if we are talking about kings and queens of terror attacks, well, it is well seated in the Arabic regions, because these people, they are Muslim and they are already be in all these countries, whether it is British, whether it is France, whether it is the US, whether it is Germany. These people that are there already, and if it happened that they have to go to the war right now, well, they'll have to do or to deal with many people within their borders and outside their borders. So if that's something that the West deserve to go through right now, of course they don't want that, because they know when these things is happening, Africa is already distanced themselves from these Western countries, and they are looking forward to work with all these people. And all this war, when it is taking place right now, their hope or their one kidney that they need, it is Africa continent, because Africa has the kind of minerals that these people will need in order for them to fight each other. Whether it is guns, whether it is rockets, whether it is drones, whether it is missile, whatsoever they use over there, those material, those minerals, it come from Africa continent. See the role, how they are seeing Africa, yet they don't want to acknowledge it. So they don't want to go to the war. They don't want to engage in the war, even though they already started already. Now, as we're talking right now, they end up coming out from their office, from their meetings, which they had to meet with their councillors and their governments, and they're coming out as world leaders, saying that they don't want the war to continue. Instead, they're calling for peace. They're now kind of like threatening Israel, saying that even though you are our allies, but just because we want to protect our interest, you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to reply back to Iran.
Again, that's a decision that only Prime Minister Netanyahu and the War Cabinet can make. I mean, again, we respect their sovereign decision-making process. What we want to see is de-escalation of the tensions. We don't want to see a wider war. Anybody who might act inimical to our interest or the interest of our allies and partners, that it's unacceptable.
Because if you do so, Iran will attack. And once Iran attack, all the Arabic regions or countries, they'll be behind Iran. And if they are behind Iran, they'll be also having their allies around the world who will come and join them. Don't forget, talking about allies, we're still having the short man, Kim Jong-un, the one from North Korea. You know very well how this man is so desperate to go to the war. Recently, you guys, you saw the video we made for you, showing you on how it's being prepared, how he's preparing his government or his militaries in order for them to attack South Korea. Now that they have not get that chance, if someone come and tell them that, no, look, let's go to the war, do you think they will refuse? They won't refuse, of course. They will take that opportunity and do so. So, world leaders, they are calling for re-escalations. They are calling for peace to reign between this Middle East.
World leaders are pressing for de-escalation in a bid for calm in the region.
The Middle East is on the brink. The people of the region are confronting a real danger of a devastating, full-scale conflict. Now is the time to defuse and de-escalate.
All eyes are on Israel and how it responds.
That the right thing to do is to pivot now and look at Hamas and say they must release the hostages. So we wouldn't be supporting retaliatory action, but we're respectful of other countries.
When world leaders, they are calling for peace to reign between these nations, of course not all of them. There are those ones who are so stubborn and they still believe that so far they are doing good for the fact that they managed to put down all the drones which Iran they had thrown over Israel. And here this time again I'm talking about former Prime Minister of UK, England, David Cameron, who had to come and say that no, we need to be respected. And attacking one of our allies, which means we have attacked all of us. Therefore, we need to react. So for the fact that they succeed to stop these drones, they feel like it's still not enough. They now want to attack Iran.
I don't think there's any easy way of doing this, and the first thing to reflect on is the massive scale of the attack that Iran attempted on Israel. It was 301 weapons, 110 ballistic missiles, 40 cruise missiles. This was very significant. And so, of course, if you're sitting in Israel this morning, you're thinking quite rightly, we have every right to respond to this, and they do. But we are urging that they shouldn't escalate. In many ways, this has been a double defeat for Iran. The attack was an almost total failure, and they've revealed to the world that they are the malign influence in the region prepared to do this. So our hope is that there won't be a retaliatory response, and instead the world's focus should shift to Hamas. They still hold those hostages. They've been offered a deal that prisoners can be released from Israeli jails in return for some of those hostages, and there'll be a pause in the fighting. That's what needs to happen next, and that's what I hope we can focus on.
After saying all this, Sunak, who's the current Prime Minister of England, he had to come and contradict him because he knows very well that this war, it will cost them a lot, even though they pretend to act that they're the world's strongest allies that the world can't beat so far. But they know very well that it's going to affect them because already they failed to beat Vladimir Putin in Russia. So having another serious conflict in the Middle East is going to destroy them. So he had to come and explain to the parliament what he said.
Mr. Speaker, on Saturday evening, Iran sought to plunge the Middle East into a new crisis. They launched a barrage of missiles and attack drones over Iraq and Jordan and towards Israel. The scale of the attack and the fact that it was targeted directly at Israel are without precedent. It was a reckless and dangerous escalation. In support of Israel's own defensive action, the United Kingdom joined a US-led international effort along with France and partners in the region, which intercepted almost all of the missiles, saving lives in Israel and its neighbours. Yesterday, I spoke to my fellow G7 leaders. We are united in our condemnation of this attack. We discussed further potential diplomatic measures, which we will be working together to coordinate in the coming days. I will also shortly be speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu to express our solidarity with Israel in the face of this attack and to discuss how we can prevent further escalation.
Well, Cameron had to say what he said, believing that he was right. And this, on the side of Iran, it not go in vain, because they have to come back also and threaten them. Have listened to this foreign minister of Iran, who had to come back also and speak in behalf of Iran, saying that what we did what we're supposed to do as a sovereign country that does not want to be controlled by the Western.
Instead of making accusations, the Western countries should appreciate the Islamic Republic of Iran's restrained and responsible actions towards the stability and safety in the region. Western countries should blame themselves and answer to public opinion for the measures they have taken against the 7 months of war crimes committed.
Again here, you can see for yourself that they are now having different parties. That those ones who believe that these countries, Western countries, they are more stronger than anything. They can defeat these countries that they are engaging in the war with in the Middle East. Some of them, they say, no, we are not gonna lose everything just because some of you want to show to the world that you are capable of defeating any enemies around the world that you don't want to be with. So they are debating, and some they feel like, no, this is too much, because come to think of it, you guys, you are defending Israel because of the drone which Iran had attacked Israel with. But you kind of like forgetting that you've been supporting Israel on all their nonsense that they've been doing over there in Palestine, where Israel, it keep on killing innocent people like peanuts without even caring. So what does that mean?
Isn't the real risk of where we are now that Western governments appear to back Israel the moment that Israel is under attack, but when Israel attacks and murders tens of thousands of innocent Palestinians, we say the words, but we do almost nothing?
I don't think that's right at all. In fact, I think actually over this weekend and into this week, people can see that the truly malign actor in the region is Iran.
Now you understand why I usually say to you guys that we're living in a world full of hypocrites, whereby they don't care about you because they want to protect their own interest, because your life does not matter at all. Because as you can see this man explaining, saying that you are busy protecting, supporting Israel and condemning what Iran have done on Israel. By the way, so far, this drone, he did not kill anyone. That is even more different to what they have done so far to the people of Israel, Palestine. Yes, what Israel have done in Palestine by killing innocent women and children. How can you hate or harm a small child who does not know nothing about war? Who's harmless? Someone who can't even do something wrong to you. But Israel, they've been doing all this. And they're doing it in eyes of everyone. Even though the president of South Africa, with South Africa government, decided to take this Israel to the ICC, the same ICC which it was assigned and put on place in order to bring this kind of matter to. Of course, you can see how they are busy doing serious drama over there, and they don't want to solve this problem once for all. It is if they are afraid of Israel. And you can tell that it is not all about Israel. In fact, they are afraid of the United States of America with their allies, because they know that if they have to condemn Israel of what they are doing in Gaza, then, which means it will involve the United States of America and with their allies, because these are the countries who keep on saying that the right of human beings should be respected, the democracy should be respected, yet they are doing the opposite of what they've been preaching around the world. We shall wait and see what will happen after all this, because the tensions are very high and Iran does not want to go back. Iran is already give a warning to the Western country, and he told them to stay out of this. What about between Russia and France, who will already start also having serious conflict, whereby Vladimir Putin have to come and warn France, warn Emmanuel Macron, who want to send militaries in Ukraine in order for them to go and defeat the government of Russia. And Putin have to say that if ever, I mean like ever, France decide to send their troops in Iran, in Ukraine, then they should be ready to face the consequences. What will happen if France have to disobey, or if they try to ignore all the trade from Russia government? What will happen tomorrow? So the world is in the mess. Guys, watch out. As for Africans, well, we'll be the observers in all this, because we believe that we have something that them they don't have, and all of them they'll come. And I think this will be a good opportunity for Africans to even open our eyes more than ever, to be ready for and to work with the new partners that we feel that will benefit Africa continent to develop. So therefore, we are here and we'll observe, because when we're dying in Africa, when we're having rebel groups, when we're having bad things that are happening in Africa, these people don't care about us. They don't even talk about it in their medias. Like right now, do you know what is happening in Sudan? There is a serious civil war over there between people of Darfur and these other cultures. They're busy killing each other there. Do you see them talking about it? Nope. Instead, if they want to talk about it, well, they will speak about it in the passage.
Depuis un an, the Sudanese have been victims of a terrible war, one they did not want, and that only produces chaos and suffering.
They don't want to dwell on it. They don't want to focus on it. They don't want even to develop and go to the source of the problem that is people of Sudan, they are busy facing. Why? Because the life of a black child does not matter for them. So guys, with this being said, you must learn one thing for sure, that Africans, we are on our own. We don't need the help of any one of these people. So when they're having their conflict and try to engage themselves in the war, even though this wars could affect us also in one way or other, but we don't have time for that. We have the time to focus on the good of Africa continent, so that we can also find the proper way to solve this kind of conflict that we are seeing in Sudan, in DR Congo, in Rwanda, in every place, so that the whole Africa continent can be at peace. Well, the West, they have to deal with what they had started. You know, when you want to show everyone that you are very strong, of course, you will only make a small mistake that can destroy you, that can ruin your reputation. And that's what is happening right now. Well, we shall wait and see what will happen. Guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. We really do appreciate your presence right now on this channel. And we ask you for a favor before you leave. Make sure that you hit that thumb button, this thumb button right here. Click on it, like these videos on your numbers, so that this message can reach to high numbers of Africans who are also all over around the world in diasporas. And this message can also reach the Westerns who are busy having serious problems and trouble around the world, so that they can understand that, well, everyone, they know who they are and we know what they are up to. So guys, allow me to take this opportunity to say a big thanks to every one of you who's part of this big family called Cool Bars TV. Yes, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I have to thank you guys, because you are so amazing, you are so loving, you are so supportive. You subscribe to the channel, and indeed we did have 100,000 subscribers right now. That is a very big achievement, the milestone that we deserve to have. And I believe it is something that needs to be celebrated. So we could not celebrate alone, because we're still waiting for our YouTube trophy to arrive. And here it is, as we try to pack it together, we try to unbox it together. This is the trophy which you guys made it possible. Of course, we have some cards here from the YouTube, which they have to congratulate us and acknowledge our team. Of course, our team, it is you, the person who's watching me right now. So we have to congratulate you. I said I was not gonna open this alone. I want to open it with you guys together, so that we can both celebrate about this milestone that we have. And here is the certificate which YouTube they had to give it to us. This is a pure certificate which came from the YouTube and signed by the #1 CEO of the YouTube. Yes, they had to sign. If you look very well, you will see everything properly. So here is what we have achieved. Guys, I mean, thank you so much. We could not achieve this without your help. We could not achieve this without you subscribing to the channel. We could not achieve this if we were playing here. So this is a very big message, as you guys saw in the post I posted earlier on, saying that this is something that Africa, I mean, it is a sign of showing that Africa, we can achieve a lot of things whenever we are together, because this is a pan-African platforms which we had created in different social medias, Facebook, TikTok. We're having hundreds, thousands of followers all over there, because that's where we get to discuss about matters that concern Africa. Of course, some people, they like to talk about nonsense, about who did what and who slept with who or who pregnanted who, you know. But us, we don't have time for that. Us, we believe that we can do something to educate the African youth. We can do something for Africans by helping them to understand where we are coming from and where we are and where we're supposed to be tomorrow. So we kind of like wakening up the Africans all over around the world, or whether it is in the African continent or whether it is in the diasporas. We do all these things free, out of charge, because we believe it is about time to waking up Africans so that we can get rid of the Western with all the strategies that they've been doing to African people. So this kind of achievement, it's showing that all the message that we've been preaching about the unity of Africa, about Africa having one currency, one general of armies, what. Well, it seems like this message, it's reaching even more people out there, and you decided to subscribe to this channel called Cool Bars TV. So guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It shows that you guys, you really do take us serious. Of course, the trophy is here. It is having our name. Yes, it is having our name there. They put everything in order so that we can indeed celebrate this moment with you guys. So if you never, or you have not subscribed to our channel, I'm begging you, we are waiting for you, my fellow African, my brother, my sister. We are waiting for you to subscribe right now. Join this big family of Africans who want and fighting for the good of Africa continent to develop. Subscribe right now. It is free of charge. It's not gonna take you even a second, but do it so that this message, it can be reached to many people out there. Thanks to those who are busy subscribing right now. Thanks to those who are busy liking this video right now. We really do appreciate that. That will be a good sign, so that whenever we're live here, you'll be able to catch us and be able to understand to what we'll be discussing for that particular moment. Well, that will be all for today. I hope we have discussed a lot. Watch out for our next video that is coming up. You'll love it again. For now, continue to be yourself. Be good, be kind. Have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.